Well, thank you very much, Blue. I really appreciate it.
Hmm.
I'm
It
very
was
glad
it
to have
was
you.
it was really fun playing into you again, D.
Likewise.
Hopefully I'll like have the will to play more Exceed because it was genuinely fun, but
I'm
you know
delighted to hear it.
sometimes getting motivated is hard.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can definitely understand that. But you know, I'd love to play anytime, and especially if it helps to just play silly nonsense on at least half the table. You know, I'm down for that. Right? Like if it's easier to do that than to play your tournament team, because I'm perfectly happy to play Exceed without taking it that seriously, as
Uh,
it's well documented.
it definitely is easier to play characters where I can screw around a bit.
Well, we got a host of customs that are now in the module, and
That is
hopefully
very
I'll be
true.
streaming more in the near future now that I've pushed out most of the planned updates. Still need to do that playmat update.
Yep.
Hmm. Still
Do you
moving
have
there.
someone lined up, or do you want to
Let me state
just chill and
clearly.
discuss?
If anyone watching has requests, wait, hold on. Other thing. Sorry. If anyone watching wants to fight, then let me know. I'm happy to take on all comers. It's been a little while since I've streamed, but like generally speaking, I'd be happy to just kind of let people hop in and do some fights, as long as you're okay playing on stream.
Yep. I'm
Um,
gonna move to a different color so I still have a hand. Since while we're waiting, can
yeah.
look at something and talk about something.
Yep. But yeah. Today's feature presentation was the unveiling of your opponents, a creation of whom I'm quite proud. Uh,
An absolutely insane amount of effort went into getting this character to work.
yep.
It's hard to even really state it.
I will express it this way. Every upgrade to this module that has been made for the past 6 to 8 months has been preparing the way for your opponent.
Yep.
I've learned much in my journey to bring this character, and he will soon be in Balanced Breakfast. I want to do a couple more tests and maybe polish off one or two things, but then he will be here, and you will be able to find him through the secret boss button. Sorry, the random boss button, which is, you know, also has the secret bosses, because where else you can put them. Oh man, is this your? This is your first time using this module at all since all the nonsense upgrades, right? Like, I think I've had you
Pretty
help test
much.
it, you know, throughout
Yeah.
development.
I helped test. I've come into this mod a couple times to check something.
Mm-hmm.
So I've like interacted with the character select a little bit.
Okay.
Interacted with everything a little bit, but not like to any major extent. Just, oh, I need to check Akuma's cards. Let me spawn in an Akuma,
Mm-hmm.
pull him out of the thing, check his cards.
So I know there's one request that you and Moriarty and maybe Poulter, I forget. Anyway, some of y'all put to me that was a way to spawn a set of normals. But apart from that, any issues, any complaints, anything feel not great now that you've actually had it in practice? You know, like in actual use.
Not still. It's pretty clean. Don't have any real complaints with it. My complaint is that TTS keeps changing its UI in subtle ways, which make it significantly harder to use for someone who's used to how it was a year ago.
This is fair. Yeah, yeah. If you get through the patches, like if you use it regularly enough, then you'll adjust pretty steadily as they make very small changes over time, right? But then
Yep.
if you don't play much for a year, or don't see very often, then it's like, oh, well, there's a lot of little things that they've done actually. I remember when they added the hand overlay to be default. I think it actually existed before that, but they've now added these things, which are cool, but also disorienting until you learn.
The right click
them.
context menu on a deck
Is now different than it used to be.
Yeah, it has spread.
Yep.
I have to move my mouse a slightly different distance.
Yep.
To choose things.
Kind of surprised
than
you didn't
before.
accidentally spread anything, because that has happened a lot. Like, I've seen a lot of people do this.
I was very careful to read the option I was clicking because I used to accidentally deal a decent amount.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that is a traditional misclick is the everyone at every table and spectator seat has now been dealt cards from your discard pile. Awesome.
So I just while I was doing that noticed, oh, there's a new option here. Great. And then when I was making Burnout Car, when I was making the TTS object for it, I like they've changed the custom card and deck maker like so much. It was actually like a little confusing getting everything to where it was and getting sorted. It took me like 5 minutes to get used to how it was.
Yep. Yeah, there's some very noteworthy changes, which a lot of it is definitely good stuff, like cool new features or options that didn't exist before, things that have made the dumb possible and the possible dumb. Actually, did I leave any of your opponents out? I don't think I did.
I don't believe so.
If I recall correctly, and this is the most trivial of things, right? But whether your opponent has rounded or angled corners is randomized.
That's excellent.
But the reason that I do that in the first place is because I want at some point to find a way to implement the other options as possible card shapes. Which is just a terrible idea. But I mean, look at this. Who doesn't want a hand of these? Like, these are the cards in your hands. They are hex shapes. This is fine. Nothing is wrong with this. I'd just be really amused to see that actually happening. Also, what do you think of this piece of art? By the way, I put a lot into it. This was probably the last thing to actually get finished. And there's one error, as opposed to many intentional problems.
This has a lot of different pieces to it.
I tried to have all of them.
Okay, I need to look at a random BlazBlue card. Okay. Yeah, I think you covered all of them.
BlazBlue might be the one that is like in the wrong place, because there's a layer that I basically turned on the wrong layer, so the bit by the paperclip isn't supposed to be there, and there's supposed to be a more obvious piece of BlazBlue framing elements, but
that makes sense.
Like one error, it's fine. We'll fix that. There's also a hole in the card, which was intended. Does it show up in this? It doesn't show up as a hole, actually. It shows up as black, which is supposed to be a hole. I'll have to fix that, too. Because, you know, being able to see through a card is entertaining and disruptive, as it should be.
It is both of those things, that is true.
Get a little bit of the shards template on there, too. The old one, specifically. Just like, well, I didn't want to use a bunch of custom template elements, but shards was used in playtesting. Funnily enough.
That is true, yeah.
So I can make that excuse.
What this is missing, if you're extending it out there, is the ugly blueprint template.
Oh god.
Unless it is on there.
I'd have to have permission to use it though.
True.
Because those assets are NDA assets.
Isn't it also used in the Season 4 rulebook?
BRB? Why, yes. Yes, it is. Alright, well, never mind then. I totally forgot that this template was just publicly shown. Yeah, alright.
CD... I can't believe you didn't remember that. I don't even own Season 4.
I mean, I read the rulebook, but, like, I don't think I even looked at the visuals for most of it. I was just concerned about text errors.
That's fair.
Like that's what I parsed. Didn't even notice. But yeah, for those who haven't seen or who are curious, see if I can get it where the camera shows it off. The card templates visible in the Season 4 rulebook, the lighting's going to be garbage here, sorry, are, they were the templates used for Season 5 playtesting, like the official internal templates. That they looked terrible, but the idea was that we would have a template that correctly reflected the proportions of whatever the final template was going to be, so that we knew that whatever we designed had to fit on the card in a way that would fit on a final card. And then, because it was standardized across the board, you know, we had a whole workflow to easily push out changes. Like, a data merge procedure which takes some spreadsheets and then pushes cards out. Chris Solis, former project lead, who is now basically running his own game company, Solis Studios, I think it's called. Solis Game Studios. Anyway, they make Pocket Paragons.
Lines, yeah.
What's the pastry game?
They Frenemy Pastry Party, I think.
Sounds right. Frenemy Pastry Party.
And then I think Chris also reacquired the rights to the game he designed, Temporal Odyssey, and
yep.
They're doing an update to it under his studio.
I saw that either a remake or a sequel was out, or was coming out, not is out, but like is in the works. So Temporal Odyssey 2, or possibly just remastered or something. I'm not sure. But yeah. Anywho, Chris essentially assembled that workflow, and I did a little bit of refinements, and then I used non-generic. Let me put it this way: we had no art whatsoever, right, to work with initially, because we just didn't have any art yet. So one of the playtesters contributed a bunch of their own like assets they made themselves to use to differentiate the characters, so that we would be able to look at a card and be like, this card is, the flower, so it goes with this character, as opposed to the other card, which is a lightning bolt, so it goes to this character.
Yep, and in addition to that, the cards themselves were color-coded, so it was easier to differentiate them in your hands.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to make sure that's... Yeah. Okay, I'll have to show off what those look like at some point. But yeah, people have seen those templates now. I just mean I want to show what the icons look like. And apparently they've been looking at them for a long time. I just didn't notice. Well, I pay attention. It's fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm missing BlazBlue, and I'm missing quality blueprint templates. Your opponents. Where are we? Well, as far as I can tell, things are pretty quiet. Nobody's offering or asking for further fights.
Actually, since a lot of people have kind of taken a swing at designing characters that are meant to be at the Alice, Juno, Jamina level, I think it would be interesting to at least touch on how difficult it is to actually hit their exact power level. Because it is.
That is what we're talking about.
Surprisingly difficult, because these characters are really incredibly strong.
Yes.
But they have flaws, and it's really easy to focus in one direction or the other to make a character that has flaws but is obviously strong but isn't strong enough, or to make a character that is capital S strong.
Capital S tier. Alright, let's see who we get. We can talk about some case studies here. And the opposite of some case studies. He doesn't count. He's actually just a joke. This is who I wanted, though. And then I guess Zengetsu is the other one that we're likely to hit, that is. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not.
If you promote me, I have Rugal saved off. I can spawn in
Go
a
for
copy
it.
of him.
Yeah. So let's talk about the new balance benchmarks of Exceed. I'll let you know, Jamina.
I will throw him right there, I guess.
Sure. Um, so I've said before, and I'll say again, Alice, Juno, Jamina, they're amazing. They're not unbeatable, but man, they're clearly the strongest. And Blue set out to make a character who was one tier above them. Well, he skipped a tier. Rugal is roughly 4 times as strong as they are. It's completely insane.
Rugal I designed with effectively infinite power budget. So Burnout Car I made no real power budget considerations outside of designing a character that like functions. Rugal I just wanted to make a strong character. I didn't mind if he was stronger than Alice, Juno, and Jamina, so long as it felt competitive. It does not feel competitive.
It's not competitive. Alright, so talking briefly about these characters' fall. Rugal is unambiguously the strongest character who was designed with the sensibilities of being an Exceed character. And I say that a little cautiously because Trillion was made to be obnoxiously overpowered intentionally. As basically, if I recall the story correctly, the creator Nep was challenged by his friends, who said something along the lines of, like, "Now you can't make a character more annoying than my custom character," and so Nep went, "Well, we'll see about that," and made what is still the strongest Exceed character I've ever seen in any context.
I'm fairly convinced that if Trillion did not have the reactive pull, Rugal versus Trillion would actually be a pretty balanced matchup overall.
It's possible. She definitely possible, but man.
Mostly because of how much ignore armor he has.
That's fair. That is non-trivial. It's just that she also basically has gain through life and +2 power and everything, functionally. Which he has his own pile of stats. I don't know. It's very silly. I haven't played it enough. I played the matchup once, if I recall. Wait, no, hold on. Did I play this matchup?
At least once.
Okay.
We played it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think what happened was, I had Rugal. I designed Rugal. We tested Rugal. It was like, wow, this character's nuts. You know what? I know Nep made one of these. I think I have it. Let me pull that out and see how Rugal runs into that. I think that was at a later time.
Gotcha. Okay, but yeah. So characters who are really, really busted. And then let's go over what else happened here. So first, the Giant Spearman, who is the best of all characters, completely unstoppable.
The strongest.
Absolute strongest of every character ever made.
Watch out when he's angry.
Yep. Yeah, he's angry now. So this character likes to play Spike and recur Spike, and then play more Spikes. So you can see why I consider him completely unbeatable. Literally does, like, I don't know, 21 free damage against me every game. Can't be stopped.
Spearman is actually a very interesting case study in how a kit's context affects the power of a given card.
Oh, that given card.
Well, his kit in general. But this is a very good way of illustrating it. I've for a long time had a theory that Demon Slayer Slash would actually be a playable and interesting card, if not for Satoshi's character ability, because his character ability says to both players, you will be at high hands always, probably 7 or 6, and you're gonna be matching Satoshi's hand. So that -1 power per card, it completely kills the move.
Yep. Yeah, Demon Slayer Slash does 2 to 4 damage, ignoring armor. Sometimes it suns block. Sometimes.
But if Satoshi was a functional character, in the sense that he didn't have this character ability causing both players to play so passively, this would be a very interesting opportunistic Spike that would do a crap ton of damage sometimes.
Yep. Which is what happens in this kit.
Yep.
Giant Spearman is terrible. let me do a quick analysis of Giant Spearman. And please, actually, if you'd be interested in doing a power budget, like doing a power budget yourself, there's a specific one that I would be really grateful if you would do, which is Hakumen. Because I'm not going to do any for the BlazBlue characters, but they have been requested. So I need someone else to do those. You don't have to, but think about it.
Not right this second. Maybe in the future, next time I'm on stream.
Cool. I would really like that because, like I said, I'm not going to do any of them for season 5 myself, but people would still like to see them. Where is it? All right. So